Hello! Welcome to the third year special of the Pageant Sit Down. My name's Regina Elena, and I am so happy and so excited to be with all of you today on this very special 3-year mark of the Pageant Sit Down. And I am joined, of course, with my amazing co-host, Elizabeth. Hey, Liz.
Hi, Regine. Happy 3 years. This is so exciting.
It's so crazy. I have too many balloons, so I couldn't pick which one I wanted to use. So here's this one now. I'm just switching out the balloons. How are you?
I'm good. It's been very busy over here. We leave for the CNM cruise tomorrow, but we can't not have our amazing Pageant Sit Down episode. So we're going to do that first.
Yes. I just can't believe, the last time we had our episode, after that day, I went on my phone. I'm like, oh my God, our 3-year mark is coming up, and it's my mind.
Went by very fast. I remember the first couple of days you were thinking about doing this. It was a text stream back and forth. And yeah, I'm really glad you started it. It's been a really fun experience and such a great platform for all of, not even just Canadian pageant girls, but all over the world. So it's been really awesome.
And it's been so fun doing the show with you. I mean, and all those people watching. Oh, the 1411 experiment. Thomas is here he usually watches the Sit Down with Scott and I, so he's on here today. Hello, Thomas.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. But no, it's just so crazy to think that, it was literally a conversation, speaking of Scott, with Scott and yourself, and just talking about, do we umbrella from the Sit Down with Scott, or do we just start fresh, or do we not do it at all? And when the two of you were like, do it, I was like, okay.
We could be quite pushy.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a special guest. It's not just Liz and I, because if it was, we can keep talking. But I know the person behind the screen is also super excited to join us.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to bring on my good friend, the one and only Maria Giorlando of the Pageant Gal, who's also going to be talking a bit about her new pageant journey as Ms. Windsor. Welcome, Maria.
Hello, friends, and happy birthday, Pageant Sit Down. I'm so proud of you two. I remember, I think I was within the first 5 guests or something like that, because I was a new pageant talk show series, and I know that Regina is not someone who's going to do something once and then leave it. So 3 years later, this is incredible. This is actually my 3rd time on the Pageant Sit Down. The last time, I believe, was almost exactly a year ago, Regina and I were saying.
Yeah, you were on episode 100. It's so funny because after that, this past year, I apologize to all of our viewers because we kind of went on a little hiatus and a little wishy-washy with our episodes, but you were on episode 100. Almost a year ago today. But a lot has happened with you, Miss Maria, in a year.
That's so true.
Right? This time last year, I was still working full-time in nursing. Now I'm a full-time international pageant coach. Gal did it. And after a 2.5-year pageant competing hiatus of my own, I am stepping back on the pageant stage in April of 2024, competing at the Ms. and Mrs. Regional Canada pageant, which we'll talk all about today.
Very exciting.
That's so exciting. Well, not just that, but girl, you got a whole rock on your finger.
Yes, that is true. And this, I'm entering my Mrs. era. So I'm enjoying the last little bit of my non-married competing time and different things like that. We were just sharing that my bridal shower is coming up, my bachelorette, my wedding, and it's kind of, making me have to miss some pageants, which makes me just a little bit sad, but they will continue on the year after.
Absolutely. Exactly. There's always more pageants. That's what I always say.
You only get one bachelorette. You better live it to your fullest.
Very true.
Although I did say that if we end up going to a pageant on my bachelorette, I won't be mad about it. Okay? My sister, if you're watching this, it's okay.
There you go. Thomas is in the chat saying so he actually won our giveaway on the Sit Down with Scott and I. So he got his mug and his shirt. It finally came in. Yay!
Woo-hoo!
Thomas, if you want a pageant Sit Down mug and shirt, I don't have a mug, but we should get some. I want a mug. So Maria, tell us what's going on. You've made your comeback in the pageant world, or the competition side at least. Tell us a little bit about it.
Of course. So Ever since I I passed on my international title in 2022, July 2022, I was pretty much ready to compete again, but I don't think it was for exactly the right reasons. I had just wanted to recompete versus really digging into my why. And when I understood that maybe now is the time to focus on me and figuring out what I want to do with life, how I want to grow my business, and then I can decide if I want to compete the following year, that was the route that I took. So this time last year, I was working, like I said, full-time as a nurse, and I slowly started to grow the pageant coaching business that I'm able to run full-time now. And I decided, okay, now is the time. I've got the time, I've got the space, and more importantly, I've got the headspace to realize that I want to compete again. I want to do it before I get married, and then I enter a whole different slew of pageants in the Mrs. category. And more importantly, especially because I'm sure that you both see it too, I wanted to support more Canadian women in sisterhood together. So that was really the rekindling of my platform, the Confidently Connected campaign that I have. And that's why I'm recompeting, not just to support Canadian women having more conversations and being in community and building their own confidence, but also to promote a system that is still new to the scene. Liz and I, we had such a fun story together going to the Mrs. Regional Canada pageant the first time it ran in 2022, but I really did love everything that the system was standing for and how it didn't just want to be a pageant. It really wanted to be an empowerment and personal development experience for women. And they don't just talk about that, they actually do it with different workshops and different elements like that. So that was ultimately the reason why I decided to go with this system, which is now going to be happening in just less than 3 months from now.
Wow.
That's so exciting.
So wait, you are getting ready for your wedding. You have all the final details. You have your bachelorette, you have your business where you are coaching full time, and you're competing in 3 months. Yeah. I heard that correctly, right?
Serious stuff right there.
Yeah, actually, fun story. I told this I said this to one of my groups of clients. The competition was supposed to be in 2023. It did. Same day as my bridal shower, but I didn't have all the details set in stone. So I said, okay, we're going to move the bridal shower. So instead of just being like, oh, you know what, I could compete next year, I moved my entire bridal shower to a different date so that I could still compete. Because when Gal says that she's committed to competing, when she has the sash across her chest, she's going to the competition. So that was funny.
I do apologize. I clicked the wrong button halfway through your story, but I caught it right away. So they didn't miss much. I just wanted you to know. Sorry, folks, if you're watching. I got trigger happy.
I want to talk a little bit about your platform, Confidently Connected, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. Can you tell us a bit more about that? I have seen a bit about it on social media, but share with the audience what it's all about.
So before COVID, actually, in January of 2020, I launched a similar campaign called Sign the Sash. And the initiative at the time was to help title holders across Canada share their experience in leadership and pageantry. So what it meant to be a title holder, what it meant to be a leader, to inspire other future and current delegates to understand the role, the responsibility, and what it took to, be able to win the crown and have that title. So what it was a sash that had a sisterhood of the traveling pants style feel to it. So it would go from title holder to title holder. They would sign it and then they would post a photo of it online. And you got to kind of see the sash go across the entire country and share this message of positive pageantry. So I love that campaign. And I thought I want to rekindle it, but in a different way. And this time, not just for title holders, this time for women in being able to connect with themselves and their own confidence. So I say there's 2 parts to Confidently Connected. The first part is confidently connecting to yourself. So when each woman gets the sash, the whole idea is that they get to initial the sash and they post a photo online about something that helps them build their own confidence. So again, really connecting with themselves in that way. And then the second part of Confidently Connected is connecting with a bigger community around you. And that happens when you wear a sash, right? I'm already a part of a bigger community because I have this sash, just like how you both have your pageant sit down shirt, you're a part of something bigger. And it's not just about you, it's about this entire community. And that's what the mission or the movement is, because then that woman passes the sash on to somebody else to rekindle and have that person feel the confidently connected experience. So it's very similar in the way that it's traveling. It's already been to, I believe, 4 or 5 different countries around the world. We've already had 56 different people sign the sash, both pageant gals and pageant guys, being able to promote sisterhood, community, and confidence building inside and outside of pageantry.
That's amazing.
Wow, that's so much fun. I remember the original Sign the Sash, and I got to be on the iconic sash, the first one. So that's so much fun. It's such a cool initiative. It's something that's so different, and I think it actually makes significant impact. Those posts are really fun to read through. I recommend going through the hashtag and looking at some of those because that is really fun. And so for the pageant, let's talk a little bit about Regional Canada. This is such a fun pageant. We had such a good time. Maria and I
You
went.
guys had an adventure.
We had an adventure for one. I can let Maria chat a bit about that. We were there more on the staff side, so we were helping with hair and makeup. So we got to see the overview of that. But now, Maria, as a contestant, what are you looking forward to in terms of like events and different things that you're going to be able to do that weekend?
I love competing. I just love being at competition. And I say it's so different when you're on the staff side. It's a different level of experience. You're there and you are still getting the value of being there in person, but it's not the same when you're sitting in the delegate spot. So not only am I really excited to have that first initial walk into the orientation space and feel like, oh, wow, this is for me. I'm here for this. It's here for all of us. And those butterfly feelings, but I'm really excited to be able to meet the women, be in competition in front of the judges and do all the different components. Because this is what it is about this pageant. It's not just like 3 different categories. There's like 10 different categories you compete in. So to be able to really show the different growth that I've had over the last couple of years and the mission and how the platform has grown, I'm really excited to show it in so many different ways versus in a typical pageant where it's been interview, runway, maybe an introduction. There's like so many other ways that I get to showcase what I've been doing.
Because I know I watched your replay of your live that when you made your announcement that you're competing. So you mentioned there's a lot of things. So there's, from my understanding, there's obviously the onstage portion, but there's also the Empower Her project. Is that correct?
Yeah, which is essentially, it's kind of like an online resume or scrapbook of not just the different service that you've done, but the way that you embody the word empowerment and empowering other women. So it can be in your day-to-day life, in your career, in your education, and in your community service as well.
We know you as the pageant gal, so you've definitely done a lot with the people that you work with and the people that you meet. But as a coach, how do you go from, preparing for yourself and then also preparing your girls? Like, are you not coaching anyone in your pageant system?
At this time I'm not, but I say that this is so much more than just about competing for a title, because at some point in time, one woman might decide to compete in this system, even if it's after me. And what I say is that no 2 people are going to compete the exact same way. Even if I do my interview this way and you do your interview that way, we're going to have 2 totally different interviews, even if we use the same strategy, is what I'm trying to get at here. But at the moment, I wouldn't be opposed to it, because there's not just the one category I'm competing in. There's 3 others. And actually one of my friends is competing in one of the other categories, and we've done preparation together. So I don't look at this as I'm all in to win. No, I have all the secrets. Everyone, if you don't work with me, we can't compete, or anything like that, because there's so many different options to compete in this competition, and there's so many different ways to prepare. Like, my way's not the only way, but if someone were to say, hey, I love what you're about, I love the way that you support women, can you support me? Like, I would never turn someone away. I would just be super honest and say, I'm going to be there too. Is that okay with you? But at the moment, I'm not coaching anybody, I don't believe.
Awesome. I was just curious because I know, for example, when I did Galaxy Canada, the first year I was also working with a group of girls and myself. And I found that I was so focused on the other people that I kind of lost my journey.
Yeah.
And then that's the year I was first runner up.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, where is that balance?
And even for my personal clients outside of this competition, I take them on the journey with me, and I really do relate to them in a different way, because now I'm back in the scene. Now I remember the feelings and the thoughts. And so I share with them different decisions, not just the things that I'm doing, but why I'm making certain decisions. So they get the insight to, okay, it's not just have a platform or post this, this is why we're doing it. This is how you build a community, brand, those different elements, from a more like in the competition standpoint, but it is something that might happen. I actually did have one of the delegates reach out to me and mention that she was looking for support, that she was competing. So automatically I get to know one other person that I didn't know before competition. And I think that's amazing.
For sure. Yeah. And kind of speaking of preparation, I know since it's been postponed, I'm sure you've been preparing here and there, as I know you would. What have you been doing in the past couple months, or how long you've had your title for to prepare?
Over the last couple of months, so the competition was supposed to be in October of 2023. Now it's January, so it's been about 3 or 4 extra months. And the biggest thing that I've been doing is honestly focusing on taking care of myself and my mindset. I was ready to go and ready to compete. And I don't want to psych myself out in any way and think I need to do even more that I already had done. I know that there's still so much time, and it was the holidays. I was like, I want to enjoy myself. I want to enjoy being with my family and get certain elements of wedding prep done. So I got a lot of those things settled. And I also really started thinking about, okay, Maria, we're going to be competing. If I were to win again, this is what I always tell my clients, and this is what I do. What do I want to do with the title? Because now it's a different type of year. The year is going to look a lot different. So it's been a lot more of the inner work, I would say. And now that I'm about less than 3 months out, I'm starting to do a lot more of the physical preparation. So weekly runway, getting back into the interview, looking over the material. Those are all things that I really and truly have not put a huge emphasis on in a couple months. But it's because I know that when I'm clear on what I want to do this year and how I'm feeling and being just confidently connected to myself, again, there's the theme there, that the interview, the runway, it's all going to come. It's all going to be okay, even if I take a couple months off to rest, recharge.
For sure.
For sure. I have a question for you coming from, I recently got married. Wow, my brain shut off for a second. I recently got married, and one of the exciting things of getting married is trying on dresses, trying on wedding dresses. But one of the hardest things is also finding a dress that isn't too pageanty or something that you've worn before. Did you find that to also be one of your things? Because my mom right away was like, too pageant, like she was just going to dress. And I'm like, Mom,
I can see that.
God. How is it for you?
I think my family thought the same thing. So actually the very first dress I tried ended up being my wedding dress. Obviously I didn't realize it. Like when I put it on, my sister, my mother-in-law, my mom, everybody started crying. And I thought, you are all being so dramatic. This is just the first dress. You're going to cry 100 more times because you're going to see all these beautiful dresses. But as I started going through, and honestly, I must have tried on 40 different dresses, I kind of left it for a day. And then when I was going back through the photos, this was my mindset because I truly didn't know. To me, all the dresses look stunning and they all look so similar. And I started to look and ask myself, which dress is a beautiful dress versus which dress do I look really beautiful in? And the difference was just the fact that I've worn so many beautiful dresses in pageantry, but my wedding dress wasn't just going to be a beautiful dress. It was going to be my dress in a different way. And that was exactly what brought me back to that first one, the very first one that I had tried on. And it's funny, we were chatting before this. I finally have all my jewelry. I have all my accessories. The veil I tried on and the earrings I tried on that very first time were also the ones that I ended up purchasing, even though they had been sold out for a couple of months because I didn't get them right when I got the dress. I ended up getting that entire look that I had right off the bat. So my family knows. They're like, you're a pageant gal. Like, you know what looks good on you. You know how to put the look together. Yeah. We should have just known it was that first dress and called it a day. So that was my experience. I'm glad I tried on more dresses though, but it was the first one.
I love that. I've been doing more bridal appointments at work. So I work at Elizabeth Noel and we have a bridal section, and it's so much fun when you see you can just see in their eyes where that's their wedding dress, because there's prom, there's pageant, there's all these things which are all really important, of course, but there's something about the bridal appointments that I get this needs to be right. This is a very important dress. And so it's so much fun, and I love that feeling. So I'm glad you got it.
I'm excited to see what you got.
I know. I'm going to share it all over the place. It's honestly the most beautiful gown in the entire world. And I'm not just saying that because I'm wearing it, but I'll share it all. And I also have photos and videos of all the other dresses. So when the wedding is done, I'm going to do one of those videos that's come and see all the dresses that I didn't say yes to. Yeah, I love watching that.
Yeah, those are fun.
Mine was very because I tried on all these different silhouettes. So that was the first thing I did. But I was similar to you where I knew exactly the first dress. Sorry, the dress that I knew I was going to end up with was the dress that I ended up with, which is the reason why I went to that store. I saw it on their Instagram and I'm like, I need to get this dress. But my mom was like, no, try on other silhouettes, try on different styles, see different colors, different textures. I'm like, okay.
You always
Sometimes you just know.
The pageant girls, we can see it. We can see the vision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was so fun. And I'm sure that I will wear the dress more than one time. Everyone always says, like, you only wear your prom dress once. I'm like, I wear my prom dress like 10 times. Trust me. Like, when you're in the pageant world, you could just find a reason to wear it again.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even go prom dress shopping. I went through my closet and picked one.
Well, you had it easy.
Yeah, it was good. Kind of switching gears, going to more of the coaching. I know you launched your business is now full-time, which is so incredibly impressive. Tell us kind of about that process. I know it was kind of a nerve-wracking one, but let us know like why you made the decision and how it's been going.
Yeah, I'm so excited to share this piece. I think this is really important for Canadian women, whether or not you ever decide to run a business or become a coach, just to realize that even though in Canada, we don't have certain things as available or as an idea like pageantry or winning big pageants or taking your business full time, that it's still possible. So I started coaching back in 2019, just locally, had people come to me asking me to support them until eventually I took it online and started sharing some of the client successes. And then it was really in 2022, technically, that I registered my business, started taking it a little bit more seriously. And then in 2023, just about 6-7 months ago, I was able to take the full leap and be full-time in my pageant coaching business. And a couple of things I always knew, probably since I was like 16, that I was meant to run a business. I've always said, like, I don't just want to be a pageant coach, and I'm not just a pageant coach. I feel like I'm so much more than that, but I've always known that being my own business owner was my goal. And I kind of wish I would have taken that a little more seriously in 2019. Before, I just thought, oh, like, this is fun, this is on the side. But I really didn't know that people took pageant coaching full time. I had no idea that that was something that they did. And so through the process of growing the business and building my community, because that's one thing that I know both of you have seen, that's how I've connected with you all, is that I don't just run a coaching business. Like, I have this incredible community of women online in our Facebook group, the Pageant Gal Queendom. We just hit 400 women inside. We have an Instagram broadcast that has almost 600 women inside. For me, it's so much more than just learn the skills to win the crown. For me, the coaching that I do is teach women how to become the queen of their own life, where they know who they are, they know what they stand for. And then in any setting, anywhere you go, you walk with confidence, you speak with conviction, and you're the woman who commands the attention in the room, which is what's going to end up winning you the crown. So a couple of years ago, it didn't start that way. It was very, why do you want to win? Let's work on the skills. And now it's really evolved to the point where I have a lot of women who come to me now and say things like, Maria, I've been doing pageants. It's good, it's great, but I want to connect with myself and with who I am outside of pageantry. So the next competition I decide to compete in, I feel 10 times better. It's like a whole different version of me that I'm walking in with that I know I can't get by just working on my interview or working on my runway. So that's really where the business has grown to now. It was a huge leap leaving nursing, which I still do nursing occasionally. I got to shout out my nursing crew, but this is something that I get to do full time every single day with my clients in different group programs and different online self-study programs as well.
That's amazing.
That's so
Well,
awesome.
I just want to give you a shout out because, as most people on this platform at least know, I dabbled into it a little bit earlier last year. And I was very nervous. You can ask Liz. Like, I was like, what if like Maria and the other coaches are not okay with it? Because I feel like the community is so small in Canada when it comes to pageantry. I was like, I don't want them to feel like I'm stepping on their toes. And you just opened up your arms to me. You're like, welcome.
I was like, I'm going to send you clients if that's okay, because I can't take on everyone.
And I really appreciate it because, like, honestly, ask Liz, I was so scared to just press go because I was worried, because I was so used to just doing my client, like talking to my clients and having my clientele without social media presence. And she was like, just do it. And I'm like, okay.
I was like,
And
why
I
are
was
you
just
doing this?
no, but I'm just so grateful that you as a coach were very welcoming and very
Yeah.
open and very warm about it, because not everyone is like that, and that was what I was really scared of. So thank you.
No, I'm so happy to hear that. And it's funny because even when, like, I'm not working with a pageant coach right now, I'm thinking about when I was like back when I won my international title. And I remember the coach I worked with in person at the time at the competition, she had said to me when we were talking about things, she would say things like, oh, and when you're like in your coaching business, this is how you can apply this. Like I could see that she was so open in that same way, where it was like, oh, she doesn't see me as another coach. Like she sees me as her client who can grow, who can help other women grow, who can help the entire industry grow as well. And I was like, if my coach can, be so open and upfront to say, hey, like you want to do this because if you're going to be a pageant coach, you want to help your clients do this. It's just always helped me have the same mentality that it's the same thing. It's like, if there weren't more pageants opening up, I would be concerned. I would be like, oh no, the pageant industry is not growing. I want to be a part of an industry that's growing, because that means that we've got business, we've got things to do, we're moving forward together. And that doesn't happen if more people don't start up their own business and take that leap. And I'm all about, you could do a coaching business with no social media. You could probably do that, but social media is the way. And I've been steering that so much more often. Everybody on here, whether you're in pageantry, you're running a business, or you have a personal brand, can take 10 times more seriously their social media presence when it comes to connecting and building that community.
Yeah. You guys know how passionate I feel about this business thing. I think it's very important. I'm very much on this train, and I think it is specifically in Canadian pageantry so important that we work together. Directors, hair and makeup artists, coaches, photographers, literally anyone in the realm of pageantry, because it's a self-funded industry, and we all have to kind of, if we want to keep seeing things happen and seeing it grow, we have to invest that time and energy into it as well. It's kind of on us to do it. So I think that's great. And I know, Maria, you also help like other people, not just contestants, but you help other pageants, and you give great workshops and you give that kind of advice. Tell us a bit more about that and how you, like, business wise, help other pageant people grow in their businesses.
Yeah, I would say it's in an unofficial way right now. I've chatted, I know, with Liz before and a few just together about that. And I think it's more that I just want to continue to share my story, to be the example to other people that it might feel hard or difficult because you're not where you want to be, but that doesn't mean that you can't get there. And simply by continuing to show up and share that, last year I was working full time. I didn't have evidence that this was going to be my full-time work. I worked hard and I posted and I connected every single day, and just really making that connection for them that I am not any different than them. I don't have any other special magical traits or talents. It's just that I had the vision and I kept going. And then if anybody is open, or if you're like, I want to grow my coaching business, or my pageant doesn't have as many delegates, I'd love to grow that, we can just have a DM conversation about that, because I want to help more business owners grow in that way. And I'm not charging for it right now, so take advantage if you can.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
It's so great, and it's so important, because like, it's what you were saying, like, you have to keep pushing, keep putting the effort in, because with all these businesses, no matter pageant aside, business just in general, you're gonna hit some rough spots, let's just say, and you got to kind of power through. And obviously you did, because you're finding success on the other end of the road. And what kind of advice would you give to people that are hoping to start their own business, or are kind of in the process? Maybe, do you want to do the tips first?
Because that was a perfect segue.
I just saw the time and I was like, never mind.
This is a perfect segue. Thanks, Liz. You can ask her. Go for it.
Yeah, I guess so. What 5 tips would you give for pageant contestants or pageant coaches, pageant owners, whatever you want, to kind of thrive in this community?
Yeah. So the first thing is to know your why. Have that sense of connection to yourself of what you want to get out of the experience. Is it a feeling that you're looking to get? Is it a certain type of status or accomplishment? Really be rooted in what you're looking to get, whether you're competing in a pageant or starting a business, because there are going to be difficult days and there are going to be times where you might get sidetracked on that why, on that goal. And so it's really important to stay confident and stay connected to your own why and your own goal for competing. The The second thing, not just be connected to your why, but connect to your bigger vision and what you want to do. Because I always say when the crown is on your head, it's not about you. It's about something so much bigger. So think about your platform, develop it. Think about the people who get to be impacted when you have the crown on your head. Third thing is to have fun. Make it about the fun more than anything. And if that means you've got to work on your confidence a little bit more and learn how to build healthy relationships with other women in competition, do it. Meet those different inner fears and shadows in you, because you're going to have way better experience than if you go to competition and are constantly comparing who is there or not. And you're never really going to be fully embracing your own uniqueness and beauty in the process as well. Okay, so we have know your why, we have know your vision, and then we have to have fun. I'm not gonna lie, I think those are like my top 3, but if I had to say the fourth one would be invest in mentorship. And don't do it because you have to, because you're missing something, because you're not. But the pageant world, like we all said, is growing. It's becoming more savvy. It is becoming much more inclusive, with other women being allowed to join from all walks of life, all ages, so many different ways, that it is going to take a little bit more from you to stand out and be able to win. And the way to do that is by being in the room with other people who can help you rise, who can help you overcome your own limitations, help you rise to a higher standard and be a stronger leader, be a stronger competitor. I've always invested in coaching in my business. I believe that's a huge reason why I'm a full-time coach now. I also was super into my pageant coaching when I was competing for my international title. I believe that's why I was able to take home an international title as a Canadian, which is something that most do not do. Okay, so invest in mentorship and coaching. And then number 5, I'm going to say, is find a way to build a community around you. And that, for me, is through social media. Find the way to share your story online and let people be a part of the journey, because people want to support you. People think pageants are actually really fascinating and interesting, but they're just kind of not used to them and not comfortable. And people love to see you stand and shine in something that you love to do. And when you build a community, it does so much of the work for you. One thing I learned over the last year is it's like this snowball effect, where when you're first working towards it, you're putting in a lot of hours. And this is same for business or pageantry. You're learning all the skills of interview, social media, runway, confidence, marketing, sales, all of these things. And it might take a lot of work up front to build that community, to do those things, to share your story online. But what's going to happen is when you get to the top of the hill, you get to push the snow. It's like a snowball, right? It's building, it's getting bigger. You get to the top of the hill, you push it down, and it starts rolling on its own. And that's the effect of building a community and building your brand, your story online, of people who have seen you putting in the work. And then all of a sudden, they reach out to you. They want to sponsor you. They want to support you. You're hosting a fundraiser. They want to go. You are just about to go compete. You just got 3 DMs from people wishing you best of luck. It's the best thing that I've done. And I don't do it to grow my business or to help me in pageantry. I do it because I love it. So build a community, whether it's online or in person. Find the way to share your journey with them even more.
Love that.
Too good. Now that's some good advice right there. Everyone pause, rewind that, and watch it again.
She like drop the mic.
Yeah.
I'm done here.
I love it. I love it so much. And I love
great segue, by the way, Liz.
Yeah, the part of community I think is actually so key. If you're not like really fully embracing everyone around you and the whole experience and all that, I think you're missing a massive chunk of this industry. And I know, well, definitely the 3 of us, I see it all the time. We're interacting with people, meeting new people, and it's some of my favorite parts of the whole pageant industry. So I think that's so great.
I just want to say, Liz, so Canadian National Miss happened last year. It was the very first year, but I also feel like that was the first pageant in a long time where everyone kind of came together from the community. And like, I got to meet Maria for the first time. I met Jewel for the first time. Like, I met a bunch of the girls that I see online for the first time at your pageant. And they all came because they were supporting you. They were supporting all their delegates, everyone. Yeah. And it was just a great, to me, that is like the pinnacle of what pageantry should look like in Canada.
Yeah, and it was such a, like, I was so excited when people were, queens were messaging me saying, hey, like, I'm interested in coming. I'm like, please come, discounted tickets, please. Like, I'd love to see you, take photos, say hi. Obviously, we got a little busy at C&M, but I had such a great time. And that's what I always want pageants to be. And it's not just my pageant. There's so many pageants that are like that bring people together. And especially in Canada, I think we can definitely see more of that. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, Liz, I remember you had like 10 different types of systems all in one, and it was really beautiful to see, honestly. And it was about a 3.5 hour drive away from me, but it was absolutely worth it to be in that community and be in that space. I also get massive FOMO not being at pageant weekend, so it was definitely an experience to get to be there and see all these different people. I was fangirling getting to meet Regine and be able to see all these people in person, be like, oh, look at them competing. It was so well done.
Thank you. Oh gosh, that means the world to me. Yeah, it's exactly what I had envisioned in terms of that aspect of the pageant. And yeah, it's really great. I've always had those kind of experiences in other pageants, so why not duplicate it and try and make it even better? Even we had a smaller pageant of contestants, but the audience was full of life and energy, so I was so grateful.
And I can't wait to see it grow with the Misses division now. That's so exciting. I always tell my husband, I'm like, man, I wish I can compete in Liz's pageant. And he's like, well, then stop talking to her. That's not how it works.
Yeah, you're a little too close. But we'll keep you as the MC. We still want you around.
There you go. So Maria, speaking of pageant systems that are growing in Canada, you are competing in regional Ontario, Canada?
Regional Canada, yeah.
Regional Canada. And that's also growing as well. But this is also your first Ms. division pageant. Am I wrong?
Technically at RIM, I was a Ms. title holder. So I'm really soaking up my Ms. era before I tip over into Liz's Mrs. pageant one day. Don't worry. I know you're going on the cruise tomorrow, and I'm a cruising gal. I like me a cruise, okay? But so they already have the Miss Ontario pageant that's been running for over 2 decades now. I believe it was Miss North Ontario. Now it's open Ontario wide. And the 2 directors, Cheryl and Natalie, who I know both of you have known or seen online in some way, they really are about moving the pageant industry in a more forward and inclusive type of manner where it's not just about beauty and they don't just talk about it. It really is that type of experience in a different type of way. And I got to judge Miss North Ontario when I was an international title holder in 2022. Loved the experience, just fell in love with the group of women who were just like this bright-eyed, bushy tail type of experience of young, innocent women. Like, there isn't all that glitz and the glam that we have over here, no, but we've got so much heart and spirit. And so knowing that they opened up a Ms. pageant for women over the age of 25, I thought, okay, we need to help women who are over the age of 25 learn how to invest in themselves, learn how to be confident, speaking about themselves, talking about themselves, standing up for what they believe in as well.
And from what I saw bits and pieces, obviously not everything because I wasn't a contestant, but it seems like such a beautiful, like emotionally connecting experience as well, not just a pageant. I know you had mentioned that there's some workshops. Could you tell us a bit more about what you kind of expect for like the different areas of like the conference day, I believe they call it, because it was really cool to see. And I know women who are of an older age don't always get the opportunity to hang out with women, make lots of new friends on a weekend. So I think that's such a cool opportunity. What do you think about that?
That is amazing. I am so deep in personal development. If I were to do about 5 minutes of listening to a speaker of any kind, I'm going to have a revelation or an aha moment. So I'm really ready to be like an emotional just ball of in the experience that day, no matter what, because they have different workshops on everything. But one I'm going to say I'm really excited about is Jane Lane. I believe that's her name. She's the medium that was there last year. And you could just tell the power she had speaking. She's a professional speaker as well, but she's a medium. And so she's able to connect with the people who are beyond our world and not even to have anything, read or discovered about me. But I think just being around other people who have this unique quality or this unique thing that they do and see them just captivate an audience, it's incredible. So I'm really excited to be the in-person, in the seat, learning, just seeing what ahas that I get to have for myself, because there's always some type of growth that we can do with our own goals or the limitations that we may or may not be aware of as well. So I'm really going in with this how can I connect with Maria even more, even outside of being a full-time business owner, even outside of planning a wedding and getting to be a wife and eventually a mom and all of those incredible things. I always want to connect with me under it. So that's my goal going into the workshop development area that they get for us.
I love that. It's such a fun, unique thing that they're doing over there. I absolutely love Cheryl and Natalie. They do such an incredible job with all their pageants, and it's just such a fun time. So it's going to be awesome. I hope I'm able to make it down there to watch or to do anything over there. We'll see. I will cross my fingers.
Yeah, they have a great
Maria,
bus
if you need
route.
to hear it.
I was gonna say they've got a great bus route, Liz, for you to get down.
Oh, great. Yeah, super awesome. Okay, I guess we should probably talk about this because we've mentioned it a couple of times.
You talked about it last year.
Oh, did we
talk about it last year?
Okay, we're good then. Yeah.
Just rewatch it. If everyone's curious, go down. I'll link her video somewhere.
Moral of the story, don't miss a connecting flight when you have 2 hours to chill in the lounge, okay? Basically, that's it.
I was going to say, I feel like that pageant system, especially listening to you talk a little bit about it during your live, Maria, listening to you talk about it and the passion that you have behind it, it makes sense to why that is the system that you're going to next. Because I feel like you go hand in hand with their beliefs and their values and everything that you talk about with like their Empower Her project and all of these things. It's very you.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy that you found a system that is just like sparked your interest.
Yeah, that makes me emotional almost because that reminds me of why I joined Royal International Miss back when I joined the Canadian virtual pageant. I had competed against, we had 2 other women in my age division. Like it really wasn't about the bigness of it. And I didn't even think about internationals at that time. I just saw an incredible group, an incredible system, an incredible director. And I was like, wow, like more people need to know about this. I'm going to go over this way. And that's how I became the national and then international title holder. And I really do feel that about this type of system. And even when Liz and I were there, I had that feeling of, oh, this would be so fun to compete in, especially because I go to a lot of pageants. I don't always get that feeling. I was at Miss Universe and I didn't even have that feeling. I was just excited for the women, but this was something that was really like connecting with me on a deeper level. So I'm happy I get to be a contestant in the experience and that it's coming up very quickly.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you, and I mean this with the absolute most respect for you and Regional Canada, I was curious to what people might have thought from you going as an international title holder to competing in a regional or it's Canada wide, so it's a massive pageant still, but to a Canada only pageant. Because I know some people kind of get in their heads, she's won this international title, what's next? Miss Universe, like what's bigger, what's better? I don't think that's always the case because, as you said, you're connecting with this system. So kind of what are your thoughts on that? Did you think about that? Or I don't know. It was just something that crossed my mind.
No, I love that. And I think that can be a really exhausting mentality sometimes, that you always have to outdo what you already did as if what you did wasn't good enough. But I totally get that. And so the main thing that I was thinking was that, one, I really wanted to compete in a national system because being an international title holder, I go all in everything that I do. And so I was traveling every month to every 2 months, even during the pandemic, which is a lot energetically. It's a lot of time to be away. It's a lot of investing in planes and time and losing sleep and all those different things. And knowing that I'm planning a wedding and then I'm going to be a newlywed, I just really wanted to have an experience where I was more at home, that I could actually be with my new husband at the time when we do get married and those different elements. So that was a huge thing. It wasn't that I just wanted to go to a system that was national, but when I thought about going internationally, and I know how I like to be at everything, I thought, you know what, that might not be my time. I had that time. I had that experience. It was incredible. And that doesn't feel as much of a yes for me and where I'm at. And then the other piece of it was that I didn't want to compete in a national pageant that had an international pageant to go to after, especially because I'm getting married in the summer this year. A lot of pageants happen in the summer. So just logistically, I knew that probably wouldn't work out, or it would be a lot of time and energy. And Carlos did say he does not want a honeymoon where he's coming to watch me compete in a pageant, which I did have to respect as well. So those different factors, trust me when I say I thought about it all, I mapped it all out, but it was never truly about trying to outdo something that I had done before, because I'm always in my own way, growing, leveling up, doing something new, doing something indifferent. So it was more important to me to make the right choice for me and stand by it 100% versus trying to do the next big thing or to top myself from the last time.
No, that's a really good point because I know for me, everyone's like, oh, because like if, for example, I won't say the pageant, but I was talking to an organizer and I'm like, oh, we have a missus. Can I compete? And they're like, oh, well, you've already done like the international. This is too small for you. And I'm like, is it though? I'm like,
I don't agree. And that's why I wanted to ask, because I feel the same way. I really feel like there's time and place for different things, and it makes sense to do it. So yeah, that's great. I love that, and I think it's going to be a perfect pageant for you to do this year. I'm really excited, and I've told you this before, so you know that I'm excited for you.
Yeah, Liz knew behind the scenes. Liz already knew.
I love that Liz knows everything about the both of us behind the scenes before the rest of the world does.
I keep it locked, though. I keep my secrets.
Yeah. That she does. She does. Mm-hmm. Oh, that sucks. Okay, well, really quickly before we wrap things up, so you mentioned that you were at Miss Universe this past few months ago.
Yes,
2 months ago.
What was that like?
It was like, I think that this is how people feel when they go to like the big like football or hockey thing, the Super Bowl that's coming up in like a couple. I'm pretty sure that that's how people feel. It was massive. When I say that the stadium was absolutely packed with people who felt like they just were obsessed with pageantry, that's really how it was. I actually was in a space where I was like, wow, pageantry is like really big around the world, because you saw so many different types of countries, flags everywhere. Everybody was dressed to the nines. Like everybody wanted to be there. And I don't know many sporting events, but I don't think there's as much intensity. I mean, there's intensity, but just to see it with pageantry, it made me so proud to think, wow, like the world loves this. The universe loves this. And people love to see their country up on the stage. And they did such a beautiful production. Like, wow, El Salvador really did put on an incredible stage, an incredible performance. We got to see John Legend. I was just shocked in so many different ways, but it was an incredible experience. I honestly, 100% honesty, I would rather watch at home because I couldn't hear a lot of what was going on. Everyone was cheering so loud. So all the answers, I heard none of it. A lot of the commentators I didn't hear. I really didn't hear a lot, but even Carlos was like, this is really fancy. Like these people love it. And it just gave me that assurance that pageants are so relevant and the countries love to see their delegates on stage. Like these are people and women representing their country, no different than if they were at the Olympics. And to see that pride come together, it was beautiful. My only regret is that I didn't go sooner to the venue because it was packed like crazy, but we were still there for probably a good 4 hours and got to soak up that time.
Well, you looked fabulous too. You were wearing the most iconic dress at the store.
Yes, from Elizabeth Noel, of course.
I love it.
You look so good. But my question was like, okay, so was it first come first seating arrangement, or was it like pre-assigned when you bought your ticket?
Yeah, so you bought your ticket based on the bowl that you wanted to be in. So we were pretty close in terms of like we were on the balcony, but we were right at the front of the balcony. So I wasn't behind any big flags or anything like that or people standing. I got to see everything happen like right in front of me as it was happening. So it was not first come, first serve.
Was it like sectioned off by like country? Because sometimes when you watch Miss Universe, you see like all of the Philippines on this side, all of the US on this side, Canada on this row.
And you know what's so funny? I was messaging Madison, like our Canadian title holder, so much before. I was like, are there tickets? Because the tickets didn't go on sale till like a week before, by the way. It was intense and I was nervous. But I was like, is there going to be a Canadian section? Like I was asking her all these questions and she's like, I don't know. So there wasn't any sections. People, I think, just probably bought in groups at the time that they did purchase things together, because you could kind of see versus actually you could hear when a certain country was called, like, oh, I heard Dominican Republic is over there. Oh, this person's over there. So I did hear it in that way, but there weren't any like big organized like groups, which I kind of would have liked. I would have loved to see who else was cheering for Canada there.
True.
But then that'd be kind of sad for like the smaller countries that don't have anyone there with them. So I guess it's good that everyone's spread around.
Yeah, it was okay. It was a big party. It was a big party for everybody.
I love that. It's so cool. Mm-hmm. I want that to be closer to us next time so we can see it ourselves. But it is so cool. El Salvador, I'm sure, is absolutely amazing. So I'm glad that.
And you got to go see your future in-laws.
Right, yes.
Yeah, I did. That was like putting it all together really, but I was like, oh, we're going to go to Miss Universe first. Like that was like the big reason for the trip.
I love
It
it.
just worked out. It just worked out. But before we wrap things up, do you have any last words that you'd like to share with our viewers, Maria?
I would absolutely love if everybody could go and give some support and love to the Mrs. Regional Canada page. And if you feel like you're a woman who's over the age of 25 and you want to compete in a competition, check out their different requirements. If you're under 25, you might be in the Miss Ontario Regional Canada pageant system. But this is an opportunity for women to, again, not only experience the pageant world, but also to have a really great personal development experience. And even if you decide not to compete in the system, there's still so many women who are competing, who you can support, even two incredible directors who every year, all of the donation proceeds go to the Northern Ontario families of children with cancer. So it's an incredible cause, an incredible initiative, and they actually share the amount that they donate every single year. So I love the integrity. I love the mission that they have. And I just have to say something. We have a 79-year-old who's competing this year in one of the two older age categories.
I love that.
That is incredible. Like they really are breaking the standards in pageantry and paving a new way of pageantry in Canada. So go check them out. Go give them a follow. You'll see my photo up there. Feel free to click it and give it some support, but give some support. That's really what the year and what these next couple of months are all about, is showcasing a new system that is making waves in the industry and giving them some love and support as they grow.
That's
Absolutely.
amazing. Well, I'm so excited to see your journey continue from all the amazing things that you've been doing. Like you're doing a lot, so I'm just excited to just follow your journey. I know Liz is also right in there with me, but if others wanted to follow your journey, where can they find you?
Yes, follow me at the Pageant Gal on Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, pretty much everything in between. And we are running a free challenge right now that's going to be happening in February called the Become the Queen of Your Life Challenge. So if you want a sense of the work that I do with my clients, and if you're wanting to connect deeper to what being the queen of your life means and how that looks for you over the next year and the rest of your life, then join. It's completely free to do so, and it's happening February 9th, 10th, and 11th. And the link is linked on the Pageant Gal profile as well.
Awesome. So I will put the links in the description below after today's live. So if you're all interested, I highly recommend go check it out. It's free. Go for it.
How could you say no?
Yeah.
Right? It's just crazy that February is tomorrow. I just realized that when you're like, it's month.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yes.
That's exciting. Well, Elizabeth, I know you're going to be off on a cruise shortly, but where can people find you online?
You can find me at Elizabeth Monarch Pageantry on Instagram. That's where I house all of my pageant stuff. Definitely follow us at Canadian National Miss Pageant on Instagram as well. We're going to be posting lots of fun videos and content. We have a whole list of things that we're going to be making on the cruise ship. So follow us there, and also follow me at Elizabeth Monarch Artistry. I'm going to be revving up the hair and makeup business now that pageant season is rolling back in. We're going to figure out what pageants I'm going to. It's still kind of up for debate, but let me know. Send me a DM if you're going to a pageant and you want me to come, and I will try my best. How about you, Regine? Where can they find you?
You all can find me here on the Pageant Sit Down. If you haven't already heard, it is our 3-year special. It is our 3-year special here on the Pageant Sit Down. So make sure if you haven't subscribed to this channel already, please do so. Give it a thumbs up as well if you enjoyed this video. If you want to catch all of Maria's interviews with us, go find it in the playlist as well. But you can also find myself personally on Instagram and TikTok at It's Regine Elena. I also do some pageant coaching as well. So it's pageant coaching. Yes, pageantcoaching.Regine Elena on Instagram. But I think the best place to find me is here on YouTube for the Pageant Sit Down.
Yay for 3 years.
Yay! It's so crazy. It's so funny. I was like, yeah, 3 years. Maria's been on 3 times.
Every year. I'll be here next year too.
I love it.
We'll have you on with your new crown and your new sash.
Putting it out there.
Yes. And the new band on your finger too.
Yes.
Right? New everything. Yeah.
and you, Maria, coming soon. But Maria, thank you so much for being our guest for a very special episode. Liz, thank you for being on this journey with me for 3 years, and everyone watching, thank you for 3 years of the Pageant Sit Down.
Yay!
And with that, we'll see you all next time. Liz, have a great cruise with the CNM girls. Maria, enjoy your pageant prep and wedding prep. And we will see you all next time. Bye!